And now let's put it all together. So this is the bottom of the bottom shelf. This is going to get confusing. Bottom of the bottom shelf and the bottom of the top shelf, or the top of the bottom shelf and the bottom of the top shelf. This is the back of the bottom shelf, as opposed to the top of the back shelf. This may well constitute the greatest number of dominoes ever used in one project by me. That goes into there. Is that the right side? No. More on. That goes into there. Into there. So everything's lining up nicely. Very pleased so far. Just goes to prove preparation pays. So my next job is to cut the dominoes for the shelf to support the batteries and the accessories, and to figure out which way I'm going to make sure all of the slots are in alignment. I have an idea. I may just count the number of dominoes that I've used in this project before I finish and write it down somewhere on the wall, so I've got a goal to try and exceed in the future. So since I've got everything assembled, and before I decide to start cutting holes in it, I thought I'd just check measurements for everything. So I've put a mark there and also calculated how far down I can come, because I don't want to be catching my knuckles on the top shelf every time I put a battery in a charger. And I'm good there. And these are the two tallest. So I'm going to strike a pencil line right the way across that backboard, take it all apart first obviously, and then I'm going to clamp a rail of some description across that when it's flat on the bench, so that I can put the bottom of the domino up against it and then cut all my slots. So last couple of jobs now. This end will be exposed, so I'm going to put a round over on it, and on the bottom shelf at the two outside edges I'm going to round those over as well, so I've reduced the chance of catching myself again. And normally I would do that on the router table, but the router table's buried under what will be the contents of this storage solution. So I think I'm just going to use a sander to probably use the disc sander to follow that line I've just drawn. So last thing I want to do before I put this shelf in is to put a wee round over on the top and the bottom, get rid of the sharp edge. In fact, I intend to put a round over on all of the external edges, but on the main body of the unit I'm going to do that when it's all together, so that I don't get this effect. I really dislike that. I hope you can see that, where one round just stops and blur. If I do it while it's all together, then it kind of flows a little better, in my opinion anyway, and I'm the one that's got to look at it all the time. Much nicer. Take that little sharp edge off. So last job before glue up, I believe, is the row of holes for the drills. And if you remember the drawing, we spaced them at 100 mil. I don't remember you being there. I think I did it. And we're going from that end So I've currently got 8 drill drivers. I'm not embarrassed though. The question is, do I continue with the holes 9, 10 and 11? I think I will, just in case there's any more drill drivers in my future, because the new Milwaukee's look nice. Milwaukee Highs. So off to the drill press. Well, it's the morning after the night before. The glue is dried, the clamps are off, the sanding's done. And before I assemble any more, I need to think about the cable management. And the last thing that I want is this plethora of cables, a veritable whoop of cables on display. So I think I'm going to route the cables. Most of them will go in behind or underneath. That one will go in behind quite nicely and route down there. That one will do the same in behind and route down there. This one is just the cable projects a little out the back, so I'm going to put the first hole there, and that way once I've pushed all the cables through, that cable itself can just poke out the back a little and it will stop it trying to push forward, because I have no locating lugs on the bottom. So with this one I'm going to have to put a little bit of padded double-sided sticky tape, Blue Peter fashion. And then these three again can utilize the same hole right behind this one. So I'm going to route a little channel here so that the cables will stay inside of this and it won't force the bottom of the unit out. So that's my 3 holes drilled for cable management, 2 for the battery chargers, the drilled battery chargers, and 1 over there for the USB charging devices that I need to deal with. I've chosen to route that out through the bottom because those devices will change more frequently than the drill driver chargers, so I may need to get to them to extract them. Hence bottom hole instead of the top hole.